We're at an all-time epidemic high for depression in this country. And one of the reasons that I think that is because we don't have very many tools or groups or networks to process challenges and difficulties and negative emotions. It's valued to grow, to push, to expand, to go up and out, if you will. And there's not a lot of emphasis given on rooting down and in. If we're just always constantly on the go and on the move and we don't stop and rest and heal and process things that are difficult for us, they will catch up with us, and then we might feel depressed or sad or angry or all of those things. There's a couple of prerequisites, if you will. So the biggest one being you really have to have a meditation practice, some kind of spiritual practice that gets you in touch with your inner landscape and who you are at your core, at your essence. And there's two reasons for that. One is because oftentimes we feel and are sensitive to other people and what they're projecting, whether they mean to or not. And we need to be really clear that what we're feeling is us, is our own emotion, is our own energy, and that we can differentiate between what is ours and what is someone else's. And secondly, when it comes to processing emotion and doing some of this healing emotional work, it's really, really important for us to remember that we are not our emotions. Our emotions are a response to what we're experiencing, and they can feel very, very strong at times, but we need to be able to keep a separation enough between who we are at our core and what we're feeling. Because if we don't, we're just going to get muddled up and stuck in the mud. We're going to target this, or enter it rather, from the body, from the physical. The body is a really good teacher. The body never lies. When you have pain, when you have discomfort, when you have agitation, frustration, the body will tell you, it will feel this response. And it's a signpost that's telling you to stop, to slow down, to process or look at what's happening, and then to realign in a way that is beneficial to you, that lets go of what isn't yours, let go of what's no longer serving you, and gives you a clear pathway to move forward. So basically the process is going to work like this. I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to use myself as an example, not because you need to get all up in what my emotions are, but just so you can see and feel what a real-time processing is like. I'm going to try to talk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing. We're going to sit long enough to get centered. That could vary from person to person. And then we're going to focus on the part of our body that is causing the most agitation. And then instead of trying to ignore or fix or change that thing, we're going to face that feeling. So this is where it's really important to have that sense of self. So you stay centered and connected internally to yourself. But with that witness presence, we're going to go right into the intensity of the feeling and be with it and feel it as much and as fully as we possibly can. Every cell in your body that hurts with this, I want you to feel, but keep the sense of separation that you are not that feeling. You're feeling that feeling. And as you process that, words may come up. You may have a description of the feeling like, oh, I'm so angry. I could just shout. Or you might even have an association with a person or an experience or a memory. And that's when you really have to be on guard and sharp that you don't lose track of who you are, where you are now, and you don't go back to some old time that isn't who you are. Might be a lot of backlog of stuff for you to clear. If it's too intense for you or too much, one thing you can do is you can write down, like in a journal or on a piece of paper, every single thing that goes with that emotion or feeling that your body has given you a signpost towards. If it's anger, you can just write down every single thing that you're angry about. And no one has to read it, no one has to know, and when you're done, you can just burn that paper and have a little ceremony and say, good riddance. So I'm going to close my eyes, but I'll keep talking to you with my eyes closed, and just get centered, and if you want to do this with me, you're welcome to. So now that I've made an internal connection, I'm going to start to scan my body for the most obvious and prominent place of agitation. I can tell you already there's several, so I'm going to try to focus on which one is the worst. Okay, so I feel a tightness or a constriction all around my head. It actually, it pinpointed or started kind of as a band around my forehead, but when I clued in, I can feel it all the way down, even into my throat. It almost feels like tears that I want to hold back, so I'm just going to go ahead and let those feelings come to the surface. I'm not trying to figure out where they're coming from or why I feel like I want to cry. I'm just giving myself the space to let the feelings come up without getting my mind too involved to try to analyze it. So I'm just going to feel it as much as I can possibly feel. It's getting lighter in my shoulders now and my neck. If you take a couple of deep breaths while you do this, it'll help a lot. You know, the tension is easing. I feel my spine like it's getting longer, so I feel like that emotion has passed. I've moved through that level. I'm going to go to the next obvious point in my body. Okay, the emotion that's coming up is hate. And when I think that, when that word popped up, what I feel is a closing in my chest and a tightness near my liver. So I'm going to just go straight into that hate, all the feelings of hate. And, you know, there's part of my mind that says, I don't hate, I'm not a hateful person. But you have to set that aside, because that's true, that's not my essence, but it's what I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to feel all the hate and all the anger. And underneath that, I can feel a little bit of the hurt. And it reminds me of being a little girl. And some leftover hurt that must have happened then. And I don't care what it came from. I'm not looking for the answer. I'm just looking to be present with what's coming up right now. And my natural instinct now says, if I'm seeing myself as that child, is to go to her and hold her and hug her. And the anger is fading, the hate is lightening. And I feel a sense of compassion. The people that hurt me or that I took as hurting me did the best that they could. As I stay in this sense of witness, I know that I can let go of holding on to that, not only forgiving anyone who has hurt me, and again, I'm not getting caught up in who it was or what they did. I just want to stay with the raw emotion. But also that I don't need to take care of them or teach them anything through this, give them any lessons. Instead, I'm going to just focus on my homework, on healing me. So I'm just sending myself love as a result of that, and that's just a natural following from processing that frustration and anger and following that path. And I feel lighter in my low back. I don't feel that closed feeling in my chest so much. And now I'm going to bring myself back to the present. So that process is something that I try to do pretty regularly, and I'll be honest, I'm guilty of waiting until I feel something intense sometimes before I do that. But I try to do a little bit of a regular meditation practice and do that at least once a week on that kind of level, just to stay sane. So I hope that you find the time in your day and in your life to make space for these challenging emotions, because we all know that not only are they not going to go away, they're going to keep happening. How we deal with them and how we respond can change, and our reactions can change, and maybe we won't have such a heavy backpack if we can both release these emotions and alter how we pick them up or don't pick them up in the future. So I want the best for all of us, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It can only make the world a better place if we all take care of ourselves and start by making peace within. Thank you so much.